Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm back with a video on Lautie Shuffle V3. This is a fidget toy I have a real love-hate relationship with. Before I got into premium fidgets, the very first one I encountered on Amazon was actually a knockoff version of this Shuffle V3, the one with the 3 plates. In my Shuffle V2 video, I mentioned that I'd sold the V3. Well, here we are. I ended up buying it right back. Welcome back, V3. I guess we were meant to be together after all. The paracord you see here is something I added myself. I picked up the main bead and spacer beads from Etsy and finished it off with a diamond knot at the bottom. I spent weeks trying to get the diamond knot down. Tying it is simple enough, but cinching it up right against the bead is tricky as hell. Taking a look at the overall build, the machining is excellent and the brass nose here is the highlight, though I know it's a bit polarizing for some. The playstyle is basically very simple. You slide the 3 plates open and shut like a deck of cards. You might notice the Teflon tape I've applied inside. I'll explain why I did that in a moment. It's quite addictive. The sliding action feels incredibly snappy and satisfying. People often say they go fishing for the pull of the fish, and I think this fidget satisfies that same tactile craving. The magnetic resistance you feel in your hand is just great. As you can see, I've applied Teflon tape to the internal tracks, and you can already see some wear and tear. There's some text here that seems to indicate the material and item number, but it's so small it's hard to read. They recently dropped the Frog and the Lotto, and man, I'm dying to get my hands on them. But that Lotto price tag, it's absolutely insane. But sooner or later, I'm probably going to cave. Man, Lautie never disappoints. Most of their stuff is just spot on. Let's open the plates one by one. I've used Teflon tape to cover the area where the steel balls are located, specifically this part on the outer plate. I also cut and pasted small strips of tape near the corners of the tracks. If you look at the photo on the left, do you see those black grooves marked in red? Those marks happen because the steel balls scrape against the surface while sliding. I applied the tape on both sides to minimize those grooves from forming. If you own a Shuffle V3, you should check yours too. Do you see any grooves starting to form? If we open the second plate, you'll see I've blocked it off with tape as well. The same thing was happening here. If it gets worse, it eventually carves out a deep trench, just like you see in the photo. You can see how deep that gouge is, right? If I were the owner, I'd be heartbroken. Because of this, I strongly recommend against pushing the plates upward from the bottom. When you use your thumb to push down, the natural mechanics of your hand apply pressure against the plates, forcing the steel ball into the opposite plate, creating those grooves. Honestly, I'd call this a critical design failure. Instead, I highly recommend sliding it from the side. Also, if you have a lanyard like this, you can loop it through your fingers for a secure grip so you don't drop it. I also suggest carrying it in a small pouch. The stainless steel plates attached to the zirconium surface are quite prone to scratching, even if they're just sitting in your pocket. There aren't any obvious scuffs since I started using this pouch. I think it's worth picking one up just to be safe. My previous V3 got scratched up all over just from carrying it in my pocket. These are available on Amazon, and honestly, they're a must-have. I tried looking for an official pouch, like the one for the Shuffle V2, but I couldn't find one. Nope. I never expected to own both the V2 and V3 at the same time, but the hand feel is definitely different. Just to do a quick comparison, the size isn't that different, but the V2 feels slightly smaller. Never mind, it's way more than just slightly. There's a noticeable difference in the thickness. After all, we're talking about an extra plate here. Barring that one critical issue I mentioned, it's a solid piece of gear I'm extremely happy with. If I personally had to choose only one fidget from my collection, this would be it. It really hits the spot for my hands. What do you guys think? It's true that the price tag is a bit steep, which can be intimidating, but the level of satisfaction makes it worth it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.